Hello viewers, welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter, Tarnia Green. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Among the major developments, Prime Minister Skerrit says there is no quick fix to challenges faced by regional economies. 80 local tourism stakeholders certified in customer service, and cricket said to be a source of unity for Caribbean people. Stay with me as I bring you the details of these and other stories when National Focus returns.
Documentaries and in-depth discussions, community walkthroughs, and Yes We Care. See it all on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. The fifth meeting of the third session of the 8th Parliament gets underway at the House of Parliament on Thursday. At that meeting, Minister for Tourism and Legal Affairs, Honourable Ian Douglas, will introduce a bill for an act to amend the Criminal Justice Act. The bill addresses the interviewing of suspects and the conducting of custodial interviews of persons arrested for serious crimes. Clause 14D provides that a written statement made by a suspect and read during a custodial interview must be electronically recorded. Honourable Douglas will also introduce a bill which will seek to amend the Criminal Justice Reform Act to strengthen the provisions related to community service toward the end of ensuring that the mechanisms are in place to allow for effective use of the community service alternative to sentencing. A bill will also be introduced to provide for the protection of witnesses in criminal proceedings and for related matters. It deals with witness anonymity. In this part, provisions is made for a court to grant a witness anonymity order. It also provides for a special measure to be put in place where a witness is eligible for assistance on the grounds of fear or distress about testifying. A bill will also be introduced for amendments to the Money Laundering and Suppression of the Financing of Terrorism Act. Meantime, Energy Minister Honourable Rayburn Blackmore will introduce a bill for an act to provide for the regulation of geothermal resources with the objective of ensuring the sustainable development of the resource and ensuring its allocation to users that are most economically beneficial to Dominica. Dominica's Prime Minister, Honourable Roosevelt Skerrit, will seek parliamentary approval for supplementary estimates of expenditure for the period July to December 2012, amounting to $11,634,484.03. The meeting of Parliament begins at 10 a.m. on Thursday this week and will be carried live on both radio and television. 80 local tourism stakeholders now hold certificates as evidence of their knowledge of tourism customer service standards. The men and women successfully graduated from tourism refresher courses facilitated by the Dominica State College on Tuesday. The training took the form of 4 separate classes comprising vendors and tour guides. At the graduation ceremony, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Claudia Bellot, briefed the graduates on the impact that their service has on the entire industry.
Dominica has always been very proud to welcome visitors to our shores, be it cruise passengers or stayover visitors, or even our family and friends who come to visit. However, from recent reports, it has been indicated that some aspects of our service standards have been dropping. And so I want to urge you, as persons who are in the forefront of providing service to the visitors, in many instances, you are sometimes the first or the second service providers that they will encounter, that we have to work very hard to raise our ratings and to ensure that we continue to provide excellent service.
The graduates accepted their certificates on Tuesday morning at the Public Service Union Conference Room from Director of Tourism Colin Piper. Piper's advice to the graduates was to make a name for Dominica through their service.
As a niche market, we cannot compete on economies of scale. Therefore, our comparative advantage needs to be quality, and that is why it is very important for you to continue to get training, but more importantly, to deliver that quality service consistently, so that you can make a name for your business or service, and by extension, make a name for the destination.
Dean of the Faculty of Education at the Dominica State College, Merrill Matthew, explained to the graduates why they were specifically targeted for the refresher course.
I want to remind you that you are very critical to the development of tourism in Dominica. And why is that so? It is because you meet our visitors first. And as you know, the same thing that happens when people fall in love is the same thing that happens when you meet visitors. First impressions are lasting ones. You are very critical to the business of tourism development in Dominica. You need to keep refreshing yourselves, because unless you keep up with the game will leave you.
Matthew went on to state that the graduation ceremony is a direct result of the partnership between the Discover Dominica Authority and the Dominica State College to improve the local tourism sector. The dean said that his role in the effort is fueled by his personal stake in the success of Dominica's tourism.
I celebrate and I rejoice and I thank God for those who are doing well. And you might be wondering why. It's because my very survival and that of my children depends on tourism in Dominica. And I can tell you, unless you make the connection that you are critical and fundamental to tourism development in Dominica, you're in trouble.
His final words to the students was a statement of advice to take pride in their work. The tourism refresher courses took place between September and October of 2012. In more news, plans by Seabourn Airlines to do business with Dominica effective April 1st this year will complement services to be offered by regional airline Liat. Last year, the government of Dominica made a decision to invest $8 million EC into the cash-strapped regional airline. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says shareholder governments of the regional airline Liat recently made the first down payment of $3.8 million for 6 new 50-seater aircrafts. The new planes are being purchased as part of the company's fleet renewal program.
Liat, as you know, has taken a decision to purchase ATRs, planes the similar size of the American Eagle, and that will also service San Juan.
3 of the 6 aircrafts are expected to be delivered this year. Liat's older fleet is estimated to be over 20 years old and has been deemed to have served the region well. Tourism Minister Honorable Ian Douglas believes cricket has served as a source of unity for Caribbean people. The minister made the remark as he addressed a brief press conference last week organized by the Dominica Cricket Association to announce plans for the hosting of the second test match between West Indies and Zimbabwe in Dominica. The event is scheduled for March 20 to 24 at the Windsor Park Stadium.
Very few institutions in the region have been able to unify us the way that Test cricket has. Maybe the University of the West Indies and probably maybe Calypso and Reggae have been able to bring us together and have been able to forge an identity for West Indians and the Caribbean civilization the way cricket has. And I'm happy to see that Dominica and the Dominican society has been able in recent times to contribute to that, and to contribute to that in a very remarkable way, in a distinguished way. And I hope that we will continue to do that for years to come.
Minister Douglas said the event will serve as an important marketing tool for the country.
Test cricket has a great reach for us in tourism. I don't believe that the amount of marketing dollars that we have available to us now in Discover Dominica and the Ministry of Tourism could be enough to place Dominica on the map that the way that Test cricket can, place Dominica on the international scene that the way that Test cricket has been placed in Dominica.
Meanwhile, President of the Dominica Cricket Association has appealed to nationals to show support for the event by turning out to next month's matches.
In Dominica, we love our cricket. At Windsor Park, we provide one of the best venues. The ambience is always tremendous. The carnival spirit is always exciting for us. And this year, we promise again another carnival of cricket here. We're looking forward to having large crowds, as usual. We must continue to do that. We must continue to showcase Dominica as the best venue. We can only do so if we, as Dominicans, tie hands across the country, from north to south, east to west, and taking the center too, and bringing all Dominicans to Windsor Park. So we want to promise to full Windsor Park. We did it last year from Monday to Friday in a test match. Nowhere else in the world you could have done that. We're doing it this year from Wednesday to Sunday, and I'm quite sure that our population are going to come out here and give maximum support.
In 2009, Dominica hosted 2 one-day internationals between West Indies and Bangladesh, and since then the Windsor Park Stadium has been the venue for several matches between West Indies and other cricket nations. Minister for Agriculture Honorable Matthew Walter says the horticulture program has met its objectives. The Ministry of Agriculture initiative targeted farmers involved in the production of specific crops including passion fruit, dasheen, yam, Tarnia, sweet potato and pineapple. The program was designed to improve productivity and meet market demands.
The farmers have received the technical assistance. And I am extremely happy that, the extension officers are reaching out to the farmers that I have visited that have benefited under the program. They have gotten material assistance with respect to planting materials and so on, and also input assistance like fertilizer and other chemicals. So generally, this support horticultural program, has benefited the farmers tremendously. And it has helped the Ministry of Agriculture significantly with respect to the achievement of increased production and productivity.
Approximately 850 farmers are benefiting from the program. In more news, Minister for Social Services, Community Development and Gender Affairs, Honorable Gloria Shillenford, says her department is ready for the March 1st adoption of the new marriage license process. A major aspect of the amended Marriage Act is the introduction of the non-residency requirement, which allows couples to obtain a marriage license within 24 hours.
The process is now much simpler, and my staff is well prepared to deliver prompt and efficient service. They have all been oriented to this new approach and have expressed willingness to be part of this new process for the good of Dominica. Prospective couples will be able to access the application forms and required guidelines online and the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority websites. In this way, the form can be completed and required documents obtained prior to their arrival in Dominica, thus making way for the expeditious processing of their applications.
The recent amendments to the Marriage Act is intended to allow Dominica to take advantage of the billion-dollar international destination wedding market.
People are now looking for exciting ways to create their memories. The average budget for a destination wedding is $20,000 US, 50,000 EC. That is the kind of money we're talking about. And the average number of guests at a destination wedding is 48. 48 persons. The bride and the groom comes with their family and their friends, their well-wishers when they choose to get married. Think about 48 rooms being filled, especially in the off-season. We can have that, especially when we are out of our peak periods, like the beginning of the year and towards the ending of the year. If we can, in the middle of the year, when there's a tendency for us to see a trough in our tourism numbers and our room nights, if we can position ourselves correctly in the weddings and honeymoons market, I believe we can fill the gap in that particular time of year.
The new marriage license process and the development plans for the destination wedding industry was discussed with wedding service providers and tourism stakeholders during a briefing last week at the Garway Hotel. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says there is no quick fix to the current economic challenges being faced by small island states like Dominica. Prime Minister Skerrit, in a recent interview with GIS, said regional economies have to make adjustments to their fiscal policies.
They have to continue prodding on with their fiscal policies and ensuring that there can be results of it, because and this thing is going to take some time. We've seen in the United States where billions of dollars have been poured into the economy, but yesterday there's been no real improvements in the economy. So some people believe that if you have a problem and you throw money at it, you're going to address it. There are some structural changes that you must make within the country, within the economy. And there's certain fiscal policies that you must put in place. And even if you pour money into it and not address those problems, then it will not resolve the problem. And these are similar situations in countries like Grenada and Barbados and Dominica and the rest of the region. Every one of us is going through a challenging period at varying degrees and varying levels, because our circumstances may be slightly different, but the challenges are the same. The challenges are the same, and we have to work together towards addressing it.
The Dominica leader is advocating that CARICOM spend more time talking about how the economies can be strengthened.
I think at CARICOM level, we have to spend more time looking at the economies and talking about the struggle of the people. I find the CARICOM agenda sometimes is too fixed. You know, it's too fixed. It has to be flexible and be able to address the ongoing issues and not an issue of last year when there's a more pressing matter taking place now. So I'm hoping that within this new framework this year, 2013, we can really start addressing present-day issues. And rather than a meeting lasting for 3 days, it should last for half a day, looking at one particular issue and having possible solutions to those challenges.
The Washington-based International Monetary Fund, the IMF, says Caribbean economies are expected to grow this year. It says Latin America and the Caribbean is on a glide path to steady growth as the global economy picks up pace. And finally, this news time, CARICOM heads of government last week convened a special caucus to discuss the importance of crime and security and its effects on national and regional development. A significant feature of the caucus was the engagement of heads of government with the Attorney General of the United States of America, Eric Holder Jr. The U.S. Attorney General reiterated the interest of the U.S. in focused engagement of the region on crime and security. CARICOM heads commended the U.S. for considerable resources made available through the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative and the continued technical assistance, such as judicial system strengthening and reform. Among matters proposed were increased intelligence and information sharing. The conference adopted a regional crime and security strategy which addresses many of the issues of member states and which provides a common platform from which the region could advance their fight against issues such as illicit trafficking, gang, youth violence, terrorism, cybersecurity, while at the same time addressing the issue of crime prevention. And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson in St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit ka complémenté Premier ministre Frondel Stewart Hot Babad et puis Dr. Keith Mitchell Hot Grenade. C'est des Premier ministre Salah sémenté pour l'office semaine passée après parti yo gagné élection générale. Honorable Skerrit qui a gardé devant le travail et puis ses chefs gouvernement Salam qui a concerné l'intérêt régional. Ça fait où la élection passée, Honorable Skerrit qui a créé assez ses chefs Salam pour travailler en l'intérêt pays ailleurs. Et aussi qui a créé assez pour mettre policiers en place qui assiste à adresser bagay challenge économie ailleurs qu'a expérience. En la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominique a payé assistance pour faciliter de l'eau pour projet agro-processing en Belz. Membre parlement Honorable Kelva Darrow visité le projet la semaine passée. Honorable Darrow aussi bien plaisir pour assistance gouvernement qui a porté par habitants l'occasion là.
Belz c'est une place qui est en plus fameuse. Et puis ces femmes ça là, ils ont planté de la Chine. Et puis nous tapons l'argent de Global Environment Facility. Tune c'est $50,000 pour commencer le projet ça là. Et puis le projet ça là en phase. Et puis first phase du projet ça là c'est pour faire un storage pour Glo. Et puis Glo ça là ni pour hot facilité là pour ces femmes là laver la Chine là et puis toutes ces autres crops ça ils ont servi pour package et pour vendre. Et bien je dis merci pour Jeff. Puis si vous partez dans l'argent ça là nous partons commencer le projet ça là. Et puis, yo banan l'argent ça là pour femmes là pour commencer le projet ça là. Et puis, même pas merci pour yo. Et puis, gouvernement Dominique nous a fait chimé là en Belz. Et puis, chimé là ça là c'est pour faciliter ces femmes là qui pour aller hors jardin yo. Et bien, je dit ces femmes Belz, chimé ça là c'est pour yo. Et puis, si chimé ça là ni grâce yo même yo ça yo coûte là yo et puis yo ça nettoyer chimé là. Et puis, petit gouvernement qui investi over $200,000 et chimé femmes là. Et bien, nous lui disons merci encore pour Jeff. Et bien, nous lui disons merci pour le gouvernement là pour chimé ça là. Petit ces femmes là, ils ont gâté tête yo. Petit yo voiture yo toujours calé en tout. Mais actuellement, il y a une belle chimé en Belz. Petit gouvernement investi l'argent ça là.
En la nouvelle, Discover Dominica Authority collabore avec State College Dominic, où là, ils conduit un programme pour trainer River Days et tour guides qui sont engagés en Industry Tourist Dominic. 80 participants reçoivent un certificat à aujourd'hui. Si le programme est conduit. Directeur des affaires d'éducation State College Dominic Merrill Matthew, c'était une de ces facilitateurs là qui conduit le trainement là.
Généralement, ça nous a dit à Dominica State College, même si on a déjà train, il a besoin de continuer training. Comme ça, tout le monde qui est encore ça, il a déjà train, comme craft and souvenir vendors et puis tour guide. Comme ça nous fait mener pour un jour seulement, et pour ça nous a créé brush up. Comme ça nous fait brush up ça et puis nous a créé.
Matthew a fait parole comment c'est monde ça là autant important pour l'industrie touriste là.
C'est monde ça qui est important. Nous qui gagnons parler, nous pas important quand c'est monde ça. Puis c'est monde ça qui a one service bah monde qui a visité nous. Comme ça, si on pas fait un job qui est bon, tout le monde a tapé blâme. Mais si on fait un job qui est bon, eh ben tout le monde qui oui, monsieur, et puis, bagaille qui travaille bien pour le tourisme dans Dominique.
Mais finalement, aussi fait parole comme vous pouvez assez pour pride dans ça vous faire.
Oui, puis si vous n'avez pas pride dans ça vous faire, vous ne pouvez pas faire bien. Si vous voulez faire bien, c'est pour aimer ça vous faire. Et puis, c'est faux aimer pour faire bien. Et puis, c'est ça qui fait mon décadillo à parole pour pride dans ça vous faire. Comme ça, si vous point pride dans ça, vous pouvez faire, vous pouvez venir plus meilleur, et puis les gens viennent plus meilleur, service industry, tourisme Dominique qui vient plus fort.
Et puis finalement, Dominique n'est un ambassadeur neuf au Venezuela. Ambassadeur His Excellency Hayden Uwando Pirela Sanchez, présenté lettre crédentielle pour président His Excellency Elliot Williams en l'office président à Montrose. Si l'on parle de ambassadeur Sanchez, il travaille pour avancer bonne relation là, qui a existé entre ces deux pays-là. Et aussi fait parole que Venezuela qui continue à promouvoir l'intégration latine-américaine en Caraïbes. Quand même, si le président Dominique, His Excellency Elliot Williams, il a gardé devant l'ambassadeur Neuf, la continue bon travail là, qui déjà commencé entre ces deux pays-là. Président Williams aussi fait parole que Dominique déjà bénéficié autant de relations et puis Venezuela. Et puis il aussi fait parole que Dominique qui continue à montrer solidarité et puis Venezuela. Ambassadeur Sanchez a remplacé Carmen Martinez de Grijalba qui est venu au bout de 12 l'année comme ambassadeur Venezuela pour la Dominique. Messieurs et mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en Creole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Thank you, McPherson. When we come back, we'll bring you the tip of the day.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day, only on GIS Channel 7.
Today we'll share with you a few weight loss tips. Slow and steady wins the race even when it comes to weight loss. You're more likely to reach your goal and stay there if you lose about 1 pound a week. And don't forget to exercise for about 30 minutes most days of the week. Check with your doctor for more tips. And that's all for National Focus. We welcome your suggestions and comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm your presenter, Tarnia Green. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember to join us again tomorrow.